Hello. Welcome to Matters of DeCorum. I'm Scott Corum. This is what matters to me. So, when you're running a tabletop role-playing game, when your D&D game, your what have you, what you're trying to do, among many things, there's a lot of hats that the Dungeon Master's wearing, but you want to present the players with enough of a set of details, enough of a picture of the world around them that everyone can imagine they're in the same world. You want to have enough things going on and things to interact with so that there's a sense of being able to reach out and touch it. You want to have a lot of stuff in that world. The devil is in the details, after all. And you may never need to have every single detail worked out in your head. At the same time, the moment you decide not to have a detailed layout, your players are going to start asking for one. So it behooves you to practice coming up with details on the fly. Say you're building a tavern. You can just say, oh, it's a tavern. There are tables. There's someone behind a counter serving drinks and taking gold and occasionally dispensing keys for the inn out back. That should be plenty. But you want to bring people in. You want them to have some reason to walk in, and this is your scene from a movie. This is your setting. There's going to be stuff happening here. They're going to be meeting people at this tavern or coming back to it or having conversations in this tavern. You want them to have a picture. How well is the tavern lit? What does it smell like? They're making food. They better be making food if they want to keep people in. Are the drinks good? Do they have a variety of drinks, or is it just ale? Who is the server? Does the server have assistants? Are there people around helping to serve? Do you have barmaids? Do you have some guy going around making sure everyone's got a little something to eat? What do you have in this tavern? Do you need to describe all this up front? No. A lot of this is going to come as a result of questions you might be asked about it or details you might be asked to fill in. And never be afraid to let the players fill in some of that detail. Is there a this in the tavern? Sure. They got a bard because I could really listen to, I want to see if there's any stories going about the city going on. Yeah, there's a bard in the corner next to the big fireplace. The bard's always next to the fireplace in my taverns for some reason. It's a good place to focus attention. And also, you set the hat down on the mantle, and it's a good place to catch coin. So let's walk into a tavern. Little mental exercise. And I do this every so often. I do this to keep that particular faculty of my brain sharp. Because you don't have to create anything more than a box for action to happen in when it comes right down to it, but you're going to get asked about it. And the more there is to it, the more verisimilitude it has, the more real that scene becomes, the more that tavern becomes, it's not so much just this place they go. Properly detailed set pieces can almost become characters in and of themselves. A tavern that is open basically all the time. Man, you have to have a good sized city to have a tavern that's open. Let's look at the concept of a 24/7 tavern. Why would you need one? What would it take to have one open? A good sized town or a small city on a trade route. A trade route that has a lot of traffic. Because you never know when someone's going to come in. It is not good to drive your caravan at night, obviously, unless, uh, especially in more recent editions of Dungeons and Dragons, the presence of dark vision is really prevalent. And it's not a huge amount of visibility. It's not a lot of distance, but a caravan run by elves or half elves or just about any other demi-human race that's got a dark vision faculty could run that caravan at night. Have herd animals, might not necessarily be using horses, but some kind of herd animal that's got uh, dark vision itself, so they can run at night without too much difficulty. Have a nice cosmopolitan thing there where you do have people who run their caravans during the day, but those folks that can run the night caravans, those are a special kind of folk, and they deserve to have some place to stop, have a drink, and a little something to eat when they get to town. You want to cater to those folks because you want them coming through. That 24-hour caravan thing, that means there's 24-hour service for the caravans. Or they're going to find a way to spend their coin someplace else, and we don't want to have that happen. Our tavern has no door. There's an entrance, but there's no door in that entrance. We never close. Why would we need a door? So it's in a secure area. There's a town guard, a good town guard. The tavern itself might have a little station for the town guard. You don't want to wait too long to have someone come and break up a big fight. People who run caravans, they like to blow off some steam, so no door. Little guard check off to the side. Not a bad duty to get, because if there's no fight, there's no fight. And when you get off duty, there's a tavern right there. You go have a couple of drinks, you head home. So the first thing we know about this place, it is open, it is accessible, it is open and inviting every hour of the day. Got to have multiple shifts working. Or there is a vampire behind. No, vampire wouldn't be able to do it. And you kind of lich behind the counter, but that'd put some people off. So multiple shifts. It's going to be a good size, because if you're going to have this much traffic and these caravans that are this variety of caravans, apparently. Your day caravans, your night caravans, your caravans that just don't care, your caravans that are semi-aquatic. Maybe there's part of an ocean route and folks come in on seahorses a certain part of the way and then throw the wheels on and bring them inland. Yeah, just a large. Oh man, I like the town already. I might have to flesh out the town, but we're talking about the tavern. So the tavern's got to be able to cater to all these people, because that's the people who own the tavern, not the person operating it, the person who owns it. This is owned by someone who doesn't sit behind the counter, because they might have started off as the tavern keeper. They might have started off serving drinks or doing some cooking. They might have built parts of it with their own hands, but it's expanded. Now they've taken their hands off it. They live off site. They just collect the money every so often because they made it. This is their dream business. It's big on the inside. It's bigger than you think. Not bigger on the inside than it is on the outside, but you're only seeing one wall of it as you approach, maybe two, depending on where you come. But it's big. They built it. It's like the quarter of a warehouse in there. Lots of tables, long tables with benches. Because you could, when you first walk in, long tables with benches. You get a little bit closer to the bar. There's the round tables with the chairs around them. A little more comfortable, a little more money involved in that area. You're the guard on a caravan, comes in, you're tired, you come in, you put your butt down on the bench, pads on the benches though, because Those are people who have not had much padding for the ride for the past 50 miles. You pad the benches. It's a little more expensive, but they're comfortable benches. No back support, but these are young folks with good backs. They come in, they plop themselves down on that bench. They are tired. They're hungry. They got dust in their throat from the road or salt from the ocean. They're in need. And the tavern provides them with stuff for their needs right the moment they sit. Let's see. What is an economic? I'm getting that feeling. You walk into a decent family restaurant. Let's say you walk into a good Mexican restaurant. You sit down. There's tortillas and salsa on the table. Those just show up. Here you go. Have a little something. Take the edge off so you can enjoy your meal without that pang of hunger trying to chase you. Make thoughtful decisions about your food. You go to there's a bunch of restaurants in the Midwest where you go in. There's a little plate of there's a basket of biscuits. You're one of the better ones. There's a little bowl of gravy next to it. Okay, just have a little biscuits and gravy. Take the edge off so you can order intelligently, based not on that hunger, but on what you really want to eat. Man, when biscuits and gravy is your appetizer, am I right? Or the bread basket or breadsticks, what have you. You want people to come in. You're going to lose a little money on parts of this operation. That's fine, because you're going to get it back in other places. That caravan guard probably hadn't gotten paid yet. They just got the horses put away in the stables across the street, across the road from the tavern. The big stables. The big stables, you know what? We'll put a larger guard presence there. These are the big stables where you can come in, you can stable the animals for your caravan, and you can leave the carts there. The guard's watching. It's not like anyone's going to steal anything from there. Big guard post right across from the tavern. Oh man, when that guard post empties out for a tavern brawl, yeah, man, that's a great distraction for stealing from caravans. Just thinking. But maybe there's a few dedicated guards, some magic, or maybe you leave a couple of guards over there with it just in case. Supplement the town guard. But you've ridden 50 miles, riding crossbow on the side of a next to your teamster, keeping your eye out. You had your head on a swivel for 50 miles, camping rough every so often so that you got to stop for the night every so often or stop for midday wherever you're going to stop. Not the most comfortable accommodations. You got your bedroll, you got your campsite, you're wiped out. You need food, you need drink, and you need a place to sleep. Tavern's definitely got an inn attached to it. Yeah, that's where the money comes from. Because you're going to stay the place that treats you right. So this particular tavern is all about treating people right. I am a caravan guard. I have just stumbled into this town. I've come across the street to the tavern with a big sign, big tavern sign. Not one of the little wooden ones, the carving. Now there's something big and grand over the big open front door. It's an archway. It's not even a door. It's an archway with a sign over it. We'll get to what the sign is in a bit. I walk in, and there is a padded bench, more padding than I have seen on a seat in 50 miles. Put my butt down. I'm done for a couple of minutes. I'll think about food. Maybe someone will come over and ask me something, but nah, they do not come and ask me what I want. They come over, they set down a pitcher of ale. It's watered down. The the alcohol content in that pitcher is just to keep the water safe and to give you a little bit of a taste. It is wet and it has some flavor and it gives you that promise that this place has some ale of more constitution somewhere. They set down a pitcher ale and they set down a little plate of something. Bread and cheese. Some farmer around, contributes some cheese or contributes milk and they make their own cheese. You got a caravan coming through, so they buy a certain amount of cheese when folks come through or whatnot. Cheese is not that difficult to make. Maybe the tavern's got a cheese cellar. Everyone's got the wine cellar and everyone's got the big area full of casks. Maybe they got a cheese cellar. Maybe they make their own special cheese. Oh, I like this guy. Makes his own special cheese, kind of like a cheddar, but just a little bit hardier. It's got a tooth feel to it. And they bake rolls. They bake rolls all day. You park your caravan, you get your animal set, you turn around, there's the smell of bread. Because they're baking bread all day, every day. The guards over here just get feckin' hungry constantly. Okay, you go over, you sit down, pitcher a watered ale, or more like aled water, to be honest. Mug goes down, because you probably got your own mug, but here, use one of our mugs. And here's a plate. It's got some fairly freshly baked rolls and a block of cheese. It's carved off a big block they got in the back. You look at it, I didn't order anything, so don't worry, you got it. Oh, I haven't been paid yet. It's like, you will be. Don't worry about it. This is on the house. You have just won the heart of that guy from the caravan. You not only won his heart, but if other guys from the caravan, other folks who are doing it, start coming by, poking their head in, he's like, hey, look, this was on the house. And suddenly that table's full. Table's full, they bring over some more ale, they bring over some more bread and cheese. And it's like, you folks, you folks, take the edge off. You've been on a long, hard ride. You take the edge off, and I'll be by to see if there's something else that we can get for you, because y'all look pretty hungry. We'll take care of you. A halfling owns this place. This is halfling hospitality practiced on a much larger scale. A business-minded halfling. So you sit at the big tables, and there is you got your little thing to take the edge off. It's good cheese. It's freshly baked bread. You're washing it down with, man, this, it's wet. It's wet and it's cold and that's good. And I wonder if they got anything stronger. Oh, we got something stronger. You want the regular ale? You want the stout? Probably not much harder than that. I don't picture this place having a big supply of like whiskeys or distilled beverages, but they got the ale, they got a stout, so they got a couple of families of beer there, and maybe they got some wine. They keep some wine because there are some folks who prefer wine to ale. Not you'll drink ale because it's safe to drink. The wine, it's a nice touch. Maybe you have a little bit of that. That's more for the folks at the round tables up front. Back here, sure. We'll get you an ale, or you want a stout, we can get you one of those. It's a couple of coppers, but you can get we'll get you one. And the bill starts. You can just chuck the coppers on the table when it shows up, but yeah, might not have been paid yet. They know where you're probably going to be staying. So we'll hook you up with the tab. It's a lot of people coming through. There's a lot of, how are they going to do that? The servers have been practiced in this for a very long time and can keep track, or they're making notes. They gotta, We'll keep a tab for you. You can settle up before you leave. Because they've got your heart. They fed you and gave you something, gave you a place to sit with a pad on it, something comfortable. There's a certain amount of trust. Okay, we'll run a tab. You're getting paid tonight, tomorrow. We'll run a tab. Something more substantial to eat. Stew. There's always stew. You got a perpetual stew pot in the back, just always there. And it's a good stew. There might be traces of the first stew ever made still in that pot because they just haven't stopped making stew. It starts to run low. You throw in some fresh ingredients. You boil it up for a little bit. Good to go. You got your stew. You always have stew. And it is an everything stew. It is a stew based on whatever they could get. Root vegetables and meat and barley. Some of that stout goes in, so it's got a good heartiness to it. But, whatever shows up, whatever's cheap at the market that morning, well, that those carrots that were right on the edge going out that someone was going to have to pitch, I'll give you a couple of coppers for that bushel of carrots. Sure, it's more than I was going to have to get when I threw them out, so the stuff that needs to be fresh is fresh. The stuff doesn't have to be fresh. Maybe it's not so fresh. The meat's all pretty fresh. It's not all cuts of meat that everyone likes. It's some of those cuts of meat that folks don't often think about too much if it's what's good for them. But kind of like a cross between stew and menudo, it's using all of whatever's left of those animals from the farm, and that's. I tell you the truth. You get a stew or something that uses all the parts of those animals. That's where a lot of the flavor is. There's a lot of connective tissue and stuff there that's got that fatty, umami, good taste to it. So the stew might not be the best thing in the world for you, but it is the best thing in the world. And you've been on that trail eating hardtack and jerky for iron rations for a week or more. That stew comes in. That stew is the best damn thing in the world. With that bread and a little bit of that cheese still there on the table, wash that down with your aled water or that pint of stout that you threw down a couple of coppers for. What do I owe you for the stew? It's a couple of coppers. I'll put it on your tab. And you want to get 5 bowls of that stew, they will give you 5 bowls of that stew. It's a couple of coppers. You might end up spending a silver on your stew and ale. You're getting paid a gold for the day. That ain't bad. So this place has a big kitchen. And that's when you first walk in. Those are the big bench seats and the long tables. And those are raucous and folks are loud and having a good time because they're getting fed. They're getting good stuff, right? And I need a room. Where can I sleep? It's like, well, got a common room. Got a common room right out back, outside that door. I'm gonna lay down a bedroll and just hip out someplace where you're going to be absolutely safe under a roof. That's another couple of coppers. That's fine. We'll have a bard playing everyone to sleep, and then keep parts of it dark so that some folks you can get some shut eye. Any time of the day, if you gotta get your shut eye, you gotta get your shut eye. We don't know when folks are gonna kip out, but yeah, got that. If you want something a little more private, maybe a little more secure, don't know how you're feeling, that's a silver. It's going to be a silver to have a room to yourself. Bed and a desk with a chamber pot and a lock. It's got a lock. We'll give you a key. That's a silver for the night. And that starts to mount up. all the coppers and silvers when you're doing a large volume. Aggregation of minimal gains. You're doing a really good business at that point in time. And that's just the long tables. How about those round tables closer to the bar? Well, the folks who are working the caravans, the caravan guards and the teamsters and the folks who are doing all the wrangling and the handling and the animal tending, that's about as far as they get. That's about as far as they care to get. It's fine. And, I'm only going to be spending a few coppers at these tables, and that's good. That's absolutely good because I get to keep more of my money. I'm not getting a lot of money out of this. Those round tables is for the merchants. Those are for the merchants, the folks who are actually who have skin in the game when it comes to this caravan, who are invested in it. Maybe it's their caravan or they own one of the carts in it. They're the business folks, they're the movers and shakers. They get to those round tables, they sit down. Big, comfy chairs, not those little restaurant wooden chairs you get in most places. No, it's got a leather padding on a nice armrest. You just sit down. They just bring out a flag and ale, or here, we'll put a pitcher of ale on the table, not this watered stuff. No, you get the ale. Like on the house, folks. Here you go. Have some ale. Would you like something? And you get the cheese and bread done up a little bit fancier. Maybe there's a couple of roses of butter out there with it. There's some seasonings that you could drop on top of that. Make it a little fancier. Same stuff, just a couple of accoutrements to get it going for you. And okay, so here you go. Enjoy yourselves. You want something a little more substantial? Just let me know. This one's on the house. You folks enjoy. Southern hospitality. Well, what is there to eat? It's like, well, tonight we got a hog roasting out back. That's going to be done in about 15, 20 minutes with some vegetables that have been roasted right alongside of it. I can hook you up with a plate of that. It's going to be about 5 silver. Are you making a lot of money from the folks at these tables? You're making a good amount. It ain't costing you no 5 silver to make a serving of that hog. But you can charge 5 silver. Want something? Want something a little more substantial to drink? We'll just keep the ale flowing if you want. They got a good source for that ale. They got a really good source for their ale and stout. They make their own cheese. There's probably someone in the town who makes the ale. A good brewing house. A good brewing house has got a partnership going with this place. So they not only get paid by the cask, they get a little cut of what comes off the tavern. Maybe they provide some stuff for the bread too, and a couple of those other byproducts. Oh man. Some of the byproducts of brewing can be used to make really good fortified bread, and now the bread is fortified and it's a little bit better. So yeah, they work together. Maybe one of my go-tos at the moment is that the people in charge of the stuff used to be an adventuring party, and they got their gold and they're done, and now they're so you got the halfling who was in that adventuring party, and maybe there's a dwarf who's a stereotypical dwarven brewer. He's just sitting back, he's getting big and happy on his brewing business, got kids that are doing most of the work for him, and yeah, that's some good ale. But you want the stout. I'm not going to say it's dwarven stout. I'm not going to say it's really, really strong. But we do water it half and half with the ale for folks who tend to pass out when their alcohol gets closer to 170, 180 proof. Know what I'm saying? So you can get some of the better meal that's being made in back. You keep the big pot of stew going all the time. Maybe a few pots of perpetual stew going all the time because you got to feed those big tables. 25, 30 big long tables full of folk. 5 or 10 of the little round tables up closer to the bar where you got that 4 or 5 people per table sitting back. Maybe there's a little service comes by, offers pipes for sale, a little tobacco. Would you like some flint and tinder? Or maybe you'd like the kid who knows prestidigitation to come over and light it for you. He'll do it for free. He does accept tips. Well, fancy. It's like, oh man, I didn't know this was a fancy place. Well, it's not fancy, but it's fancy enough. And wow, that's and the stew is good because you got the hog is good. You roast a hog, you do it the right way, or you even do it a little bit wrong. It's still good because it's a hog you're roasting. And you put some of those vegetables and that fat that's dripping off the roasting hog. Oh man, yeah, you can't get nothing better than that. Get some of that bread, scoop up some of that hog juice with that fat and then vegetables, and oh yeah, dollop of that butter, a little sprinkle of that seasoning. You've been on the road too. You've had better rations. You have, yeah, but you're out there putting skin in the game. You deserve a little something special when you end up. You might have been thinking, I'm going to go to one of them big fancy hotels, but that tavern over there smells like baked bread. That's where my people are going. I'll stop. I'll stop and I'll see what they got. And you walk past the big tables because those aren't for you. You're a merchant. But those little tables up front, those are nice. Those are well made. They got a little inlay in them. That chair looks really comfortable. You got a chair like that at home. Yeah, I'm going to sit down there. You're going to put some ale in front of me. I'm going to have an ale because it'd be rude not to. And there's bread and cheese. Oh, that's a fancy little. Did you press that butter into that shape? That is adorable. And is that sumac? Did you just put some sumac on that bread and butter? Oh yeah, you just put a little bit of sumac on that bread and butter, and I tell you what, that is some fine eating right there. Yeah, I'll have the hog. I'll throw you some silver for that hog. That seems really good. Uh, gun, you got a steer to cook tomorrow night? Oh, I might have to stay over another day. My folks could use some rest. I'll cash them out for this part of the trip so they can manage here a little bit, and yeah, we'll talk. You got your fine meal? I'm getting full from all this fine hog with this bread and this. Can I get a bottle of wine? You can absolutely get a bottle of wine with that. We got a really good red that goes just with this. Oh, that's nice. Thank you. You got someplace to stay? Well, we got some good accommodations. We got the standard rooms that are silver a night. But for folk like you, we do have the gold suites. Oh, tell me about the gold suites. Well, it's 2, 3 rooms on one, so you got a place for you, maybe a place for someone, a bodyguard or a significant other or a wannabe significant other. We're not going to judge nothing. Nice, big, comfortable bed. You got a bath in the room, and we'll put a little mint on your pillow where you go to sleep. So you got a little something sweet. Take you off dreamland. Yeah, yeah. I'm dropping. I don't have to go in. I got this meal. I'm full. I'm tired. I got the money. It's a gold a night, which is an expensive hotel for the guys at the long tables. For the guys at the small tables, a gold a night's not that bad. Not that bad at all. You got that in your pocket right now. Yeah, yeah. Give me one of them rooms. They pretty secure. You know what? This key. It's the only key that will open that door. It's the only key, and you'll just get that back to me at the end. You're all good. It's nice and secure. We have had no incidents in our gold suites in quite some time. You will be fine. There's a bard playing by the big. There's the bar and the big fireplace. Bard, big fireplace. You got to have a big fireplace, big roaring fire, nice warm hearth with herbs across the top, drying out, giving that smell to that whole area. The bard is singing a little bit of information, some of the local news, talking about what's in the town, a little bit about how good the place you're in is, and and how you're going to have a legendary night of rest in this wonderful establishment. And then a few things just to help the digestion, just some music, just a few tunes, pleasing to most ears and pleasant to eat by. Gets on towards that caravan's been in here for hour or two, and these folks been sitting here just absorbing the gratuitous stuff. The music starts to get a little bit sleepy. Yeah, you got a full belly. You run up an okay tab, not bad. Why don't y'all get some rest? So you go to the common room, or you go to your private room, you go to your gold suite, depending on who it is who've come in, and you have a good night's sleep. It is secure. Town guards right across the street. They have a couple of private security. You just walk around, make sure no one's sneaking into no windows or stealthing around the place looking to backstab someone. No, this place, it's nice and calm, it's nice and peaceful. It is the best night's sleep you've had in a week, if not a little bit more, because you're safe and you're full and you're comfortable. And you get that trifecta, yeah, you're going to have wonderful sleep. Get up in the morning, someplace to clean off. You need a little bit of something to clean off. You can't just have someone casting presto on everyone, because that gets a little bit, even though it's a cantrip, that gets exhausting. They got some washrooms. Not quite a Roman bath, but they got someplace you go relieve yourself and get some water on you, clean off, scrape off some of the road, get yourself a fresh start on a new day. There is a bathhouse across the way. Not necessarily associated with us, but we do have coupon if you'd like to go over, take use of their services. It's a silver, but you will come out clean and happy and smelling absolutely wonderful. Get back on the road with that. Bathhouse is owned by another member of the party, adventuring party. Half elf, I'm thinking, who just likes the cleanliness and the institution of the bathhouse, and keeps everything, uses a little magic, keeps everything nice and clean and sparkling, and yeah, gets good supplies in. It's a silver for a service, but that ain't bad. That ain't bad at all. You want to get cleaned up? He wants you to be clean. You're going to be clean. You come out here. We take tips. Nice big tip jar, and you are treated well in that place. Nothing, no hanky panky, no funky business. You go over there, you get clean. That's all there is to it. And back at the tavern, well, it's breakfast time. Everyone eats the same breakfast. Everyone, no matter big table, small table, you eat the same breakfast, and it is family style. They cook you up a big bowl of scrambled eggs and nice big plate of sausages and or bacon. Well, some of the rolls, because you got to have those rolls. You got to have some bread with your breakfast. Get those starches in. Get those complex carbs working for you for your day on the thing. Maybe there's some gravy. Maybe there's some gravy. They make you know what? There's bacon. There's sausages. There's going to be some fat. They make gravy. Because why would you not make gravy? Gravy is comfort. Gravy is goodness. It's like, what I owe you for this great breakfast? It's copper. It's a copper. For a copper, you sit down and you have this breakfast. Well, how much do I get? Oh, you just keep eating till you're full. For copper. That seems super cheap. And again, volume. If you keep this place full, you keep this place running, you're going to have very little waste. Because those are hungry folks. Those are folks working caravans. Those are folks with really, really high daily calorie counts. You're not going to get those people who are, those 1,000-calorie elvish aesthetics, or those 2,000 calorie just guy walking down the street. No, these are 4,000 or 5,000 calorie a day folks, because they work. They're buff. They got the constitution and strength to support working on that job, and they're out there lifting, moving, pulling. driving animals all day. They got calorie counts. You are there to make sure that they get a significant portion of that at your place. A copper a person for 500 people in that place over the course of the day. Yeah, yeah. Volume. That covers your costs and pays your folks. It's all a little cheap. It's all seeming a little bit inexpensive to me. I'm not sure how they're going to make their money. They're making a lot of money on the rooms. A lot of money on the rooms. Keep the food cheap. You know, you charge like twice what I was saying for the rooms, and if you had a room, the breakfast is free, and therefore you're effectively charging the price of a room for a breakfast, and that's fine. That works. Not the gold suites. You're eating the same stuff that everyone else is eating, but that's the breakfast you want to eat that morning. You want to eat this big, greasy, calorie-laden breakfast, and maybe the merchants are getting a little bit round in the midsection from having good breakfast like this. But how often, really, how often you get to do something like that? You're on the road. You're burning calories too. You got to get this breakfast. Not going to eat as much. You had the gold suite. Yeah, get the continental breakfast thrown in. Nah. Servers are folks. They're either family of the proprietor or the people who are operating it. The people who are working there, they're townsfolk from this town, but they're the townsfolk who feel like giving people a good time, a little good food and good rest and good service. Also, people like to throw down in a fight because if you're going to have competing caravans in, there's going to be a little bit of a tussle. There's going to be some stuff. A lot of things in this tavern are easy to replace. Those big long tables, yeah, that can get broken. That can get patched up real easy. Little tables, you don't fight around the little tables. You go get in the big brawl by the big tables. It starts to spill over. Well, that's when town guard gets called in, and that gets put down pretty quick. But the folks who are working here, friendly town folk. Friendly townfolk. You guys got to be genuinely friendly to work here. You ain't got that fairly high charisma and that can-do attitude. You know, you can clean the rooms. We've got lots of jobs that don't involve interfacing with the public, but if you are up in the face of folks working on caravans for a week, you got to be friendly and you got to be patient and you got to give them just a little bit of leeway, but know when to say that's enough. And some of that comes with the job. Some of that comes with how you will tell you to do the job. Some of it comes with time, and you're just going to have to learn that. But you will walk out of here with a lot of experience. We'll give you a good letter of recommendation. You can go anyplace else, work this job. What do you say? Mostly adobe on the outside. The outside of the building looks like it was made very, very quickly, and that's mostly just insulation, actually. The inside's built out of proper timber and construction. Um, looks like just a big common room with a fireplace around the big tables. Get those little tables, it's a little finer, a little nicer. Looks like you're inside a nice restaurant when you get there. The rooms are all pretty basic, but they're nice. Nothing, elven scroll work in the walls and what have you. It's not made of stone. It's made out of timber. It's made out of good wood. Good local stuff. Some stuff coming on caravan. We've expanded it over time based on stuff that we could get, stuff that came on a caravan. Someone from a caravan thought we did really good. They gave us part of their, the merchant there gave us part of their lumber load. That went in around the hearth over there. And they look pretty nice, don't you think? Slip by wagon wheels with torches on them hanging from chains from the roof, from the ceiling. Because why wouldn't you? Caravans throw wheels all the time. Every single one of those wheels has seen road. We did not go and buy a load of wagon wheels, set up our chandeliers here. Nah, those are wagon wheels that were not going to go another mile on a cart. Those are wagon wheels that They saw road. They saw road, and they had to get retired anyway, and they got just enough structural integrity. Hang from that chain, hold those torches. Hey, there you go. Plenty of light, nice and comfortable, warming fire. You got the kid who cast prestidigitation to go and light those up and get started. And a couple of folks are just making sure that all torches, they're long-lasting torches, maybe magical, but they're long-lasting at the very least. And you change them out every so often because they're always going. Because not a lot of windows in here, enough for there's airflow, enough so you can kind of see outside. More towards the other side, not towards the road. Road doesn't have a lot of windows because you have that big sign. And that's kind of what you want to see, that big sign. And you don't want to see the windows you might get thrown out of. There's a big arch. You ain't got to break glass to get you out of that place. You got to get thrown out. And some windows and some airflow and the torchlight and the fireplace. That's the name of it. That's the last ingredient. And often it's the last thing I will come up with. So now I know about this place. I kind of know who's behind it. I can see the guy behind the bar. Nah, I can see the gal behind the bar. Half elf. Half elf with a little extra something. Relative of the owner. So I'm not sure exactly how that all worked out, but and she looks nice and dainty and petite, and she dresses not provocatively. She's tending a bar, and she kind of knows how people feel about ladies tending bars in this area of the world. But she's polite, she's nice, she's very firm. She makes sure that everyone's got the drinks they're looking to get. She fields a lot of the orders and is the communication hub between the servers and the kitchen. She's managing while she's back there. She's sharp, really, really smart. And oh yeah, if you decide to mess with the lady behind the bar, she will fry you. Wizard, sorceress. The sorceress behind the bar. And yeah, you can go so far, but you get all touchy, and there is this thing called shock and grasp, and she will not do it in places you want to be shock and grasped. Because she's a lady, and she will remind you of that if that needs reminding. Kitchen staff. Kitchen staff is a close relative of the owner, a halfling, a halfling chef with a crew of folks left behind by caravans. Couldn't go any further. They got injured or whatnot. They had to stay in town. It's like, well, what am I going to do? And it's like, well, we'll pay you to work the kitchen here. We always need people in the kitchen, pretty high turnover rate, but there's 5 or 10 people back there making the perpetual stew and keeping the hogs roasted and whatnot, taking care of stuff. You know how to handle food. You're a caravan cook or someone who's been handling yourself on the trail for a while. You can come here and work here. Halfling will tell you what to do. You do that. You're going to be good. You're going to get fed. You're going to have a place to stay. What's better than that? And the servers, yeah, folks from around town. Just wild and diverse, and there's an orc over there. He's tending the fire and then making sure that someone's got their soup. It's like, is that orc going to be okay? It's like, are you going to be okay? The orc is fine. Brought me soup. Shut up. Needs a name. It needs that. I've just dropped off my cart for the caravan. Merchant told me he's going to pay me in the morning once he gets things sorted out. Might have a couple copper in your pocket. Tired, hungry, turn around. I'm looking to see what this town has to offer me. And someone has built an establishment right across the street from the stables here. Smells like bacon bread and your stomach rumbles a little bit. Big inviting archway. Through it, you can see torchlight, hear laughter coming out. Name of the place. Over it. When you're talking about taverns and inns, talking about this medieval mindset, a lot of places, the owl and the thorn, places like that, have those names. They're easy iconography. You can just put a picture of an owl and a thorn, and you know what tavern that is, and everyone refers to it that way. You can write the name out as well, but not everyone there is going to be able to read it. And when we're talking about the fantasy world and the Dungeons and Dragons and whatnot, not everyone there is going to be able to read that language. You might not be wanting to put the name of your place in 7 languages down the side of the building. That takes up an awful lot of space, and signs are expensive. So you go for something that goes with the iconography. What do you call that place? It is so nice and warm and comfortable. Owner of the place is a halfling. You call it the Happy Halfling. It's a big picture of a little guy with those fairly recognizable proportions, bare hairy feet, which you can do in a wood carving without too much difficulty. Just arms wide, big plates of food on either hand, smile across his face. It's the Happy Halfling. It's like, hey, so you guys are going to be in town for a little bit? Yeah, just parked up looking for, Happy Halfling's right across the street. Good food, not that much. They'll let you run a tab till you get paid. You could do worse. You look over there and it smells like bacon bread and it sounds like laughter. There's inviting torchlight from inside, and you go and take your first peek in. And there's those big long benches with those big soft pads on them. Everyone's happy. You sit down, get your ale, your bread, your cheese. Like, how much owe you for this? You don't worry about this. You want to get something a little more substantial, then we'll start talking about what you owe us. And there's where you want to sleep. And there's plenty of places in town, but we got a nice spot right here, and it's not going to charge you too much. Come on. I love these little walks through places that don't exist. I want to visit this tavern now. I want to go sit one of the big seats. I need back support. So I walk in and go, I'd head for something where I can see the seats with backs in them. Head up there, have myself a slightly more expensive meal. That's fine. I got the silvers for it. And I got a couple gold. It's pricey, but they're making enough off the merchants and off the gold and off the gold suites. You got a good number of gold suites. I got more gold suites than you might think. This place is combat. It's like a motor lodge. It stretches back a little ways. Ever been to the Split P. Anderson's motor lodge in Buellton? Because I for years just went for the restaurant, and there's a good sized restaurant, a couple of big rooms, and gift shop and whatnot. It's a pretty big place, and then you just look and understand that the motor lodge is the whole place, and it just stretches. It covers a fairly big lot. Yeah, something like that. We got plenty of rooms. Common rooms big. Private rooms got plenty of those. Those gold suites we got enough of those. Rooms that aren't costing you anything if no one is staying in them, and if someone's spending a gold to be in there, you got someone who can clean that up. You can only pay a couple of coppers, or in food and board. You got, and you know what? You got some rooms that people aren't taking up that night. They help them sleep there. It's fine. It's a perk. You get to sleep in the unused rooms when there are unused rooms. If there aren't any unused rooms, well, then you're in the commons, or maybe we find someplace else for you to sleep. We'll find someplace for you to sleep. Your family when you're working at the Happy Hobbit. Yeah, I got to write that up. That's a good one. I like that. Do I need all these details? I'm probably not going to ever use all those details in the game. I'm probably never going to actually have all of that out on the plate for people to see just where they're going to interface, what they're going to understand of it, what they deal with. But there are going to be questions. There are going to be questions that I'm not ready to answer yet because I don't have it. And, this exercise, this walking through this tavern, this working out where it belongs from one place to another, that gives me the ability to answer those questions as though I had them worked out beforehand. That's what you want. You don't want there to be a pause in the game while you're referencing something. There are going to be times you need that. There's going to be times you didn't look in this part of it. Maybe you're running out of a published adventure. You need to know a specific information that is actually relevant to the game. You got to stop. You got to read. Maybe you got some box text you got to read out. That's okay. That's fine. But in these bits where it's something out of your head, something that had to pop up because there was a need for it in the game and it wasn't provided to you by the adventure, or you're running it out of your own head anyway. Someone asks a question about what is there. The faster and more confidently you answer that question, the more real it is. It's like, if you take a while and hem and haw, if you think about it for a few minutes, well, then you're making it up. You're making it up there on the spot. If, however, you just cough out an answer, oh yeah, it's this, and it's like that, and this is the thing about it, then that's kind of real, because that's something that you know. It's not something you had to take the time to make up from whole cloth. Oh, that was right there. Oh, well, that's a thing. Obviously. You're making them both up. You're making them both up from whole cloth. They are both entirely imaginary. They are both something that didn't exist before someone asked for it. And it's practice. It is just practice. I do this. This is part of my day. All day, every day. Well, not all day, but for a good part of my day, every day. And this is the workout that I put my imagination through. What is there? How does this work? What do I need? What does it look like? If I run my finger across the wall, what comes off on my pad? Happy Hobbit's pretty clean. A little bit of road grit. You're just never going to get rid of that. A little bit of dust because, well, your place is always working and you don't really want to see people being clean. Might be some guy running Presto every so often. Man, you're going to have 5-6 people who know Presto. Wizard Apprentices, you give them a little place to stay, maybe sponsor them. You know Presto? Awesome. Why don't you work here for a season? I will sponsor you to the Wizard College. Hey, you're doing me a favor. I love this place. The faster you have that information at hand, the faster the game is going to flow, the more engaged people are going to be, because pauses break engagement. You know, that time, well, it's going to take you a few minutes to work this out. Let me check stuff on my phone. And now you're not in this world anymore. Practice. Walk around in places that don't exist. Put your foot in something that wasn't there before you decided to put your foot down. And ask yourself, what's my foot on? Well, thank you for following me along on this particular ramble. Went a little bit longer than I figured, but, you know, I got the Happy Hobbit out of it. And I am not unhappy with the Happy Hobbit. I keep coming up with very good establishments. I like good establishments. I need to work on my bad establishments. So maybe that's another for another week. But in the meantime, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't enjoy the video, give me a thumbs down. Feedback is feedback. If you have anything else you'd like to hear me talk about, if you've got reactions to the Happy Hobbit, if there's a place you'd like to kind of see envisioned, things you'd like to hear me talk about, questions you'd like me to answer, leave me a comment down below. I will love getting your comments. You'll love leaving me one. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, why not? My channel is awesome. Hit the subscribe button. If you do hit the subscribe button, you might want to hit the notification bell so you're alerted when my videos become available. If you would like to contribute to the channel in a more substantial manner, I invite you to hit me up on my Patreon page, www.patreon.com/ScottCorum, and consider donating. Absolutely anything helps us me to make better videos more often. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. I'm Scott Corum. This is what has mattered to me. I will see you next time on the next Matters of DeCorum.